All right, we're live. Come on in, guys. Get comfortable. The webinar room is firing up. Welcome, Chris. Hey, Matt. Hey, Jackie Asplund. Hey, Jamie. Come on in, guys. Get comfortable. Pull up a seat. Hey, Leslie. Hey, Jamie, Jackie, Matt, Charisse, Chris, Aaron, Almeida. Come on in, guys. Get comfortable. Now everyone's pouring in. Suzanne, Jay, Matt, Andrea Levine, Eric. Come on in, guys. Get comfortable. Pull up a seat. Grab yourself a beverage like usual. I'm drinking water today. This is not sparkling San Pellegrino. It's just a glass bottle refilled with tap. It's just an illusion. But come on in, guys. Get comfortable. We're going to get started in just a few minutes. But go to the chat and say hi. Say what's up to everybody. Hey, Tony. Hey, Faye. Hey, Margarita, Alice, Pamela, Lauren, Hejmat, Catherine, Felix. Come on in, guys. You guys are joining way too fast for me to keep up, but I'm welcoming as many as I can. Hey, Katie. Hey, Joe. Hey, Leslie. Hey, Sean, Jared. Come on in, guys. Get comfortable. Go to the chat and say hi. Cherie says, is this the CL playbook? No, this is the Limitless Listing Leads playbook, and you guys are going to love it. So we're going to get started in just a minute. In fact, I have a couple of questions for you guys. Hang on. Apologies. Just quenching some thirst. Come on in, guys. Grab a beverage so you don't have to get up later and grab yourself a drink when you get thirsty. I want you to go to the chat, and I want you to say hi, first of all. But I want you to go to the chat and answer two questions for me. So question number one is really simple. What market are you in? But don't answer it yet. Just wait just a second, okay? So what market are you in? I'm going to set this as a sticky message. And question number two is really simple. What's your stretch goal? Or specifically, how many deals, I'm going to say transactions. Some people get funny when you call a transaction a deal. How many transactions do you want over the next 12 months? I'm not talking about just 2022. I'm talking about 12 months from today. When you look back, how many transactions do you want to have completed in your real estate sales business? So I'm setting this as a sticky message. You're going to see a little yellow sticky note at the top of the chat. But I want you to go and answer these two questions, and I'm going to get things kicked off. I always like to answer first. My name is Chris Jones. I am an agent here in Fayetteville, North Carolina. I run a team with my brother Levi, and our stretch goal over the next 12 months is 150 transactions. Boom. I just submitted it, okay? So Don is in Pittsburgh, wants to do 120. I love it, okay? But I want you guys to know, obviously, there's something in it for us. When you go and answer these questions. When you go to answer these questions, we collect this data, we put it into a giant spreadsheet. It helps us understand who you are and helps us create better webinars for the future. All right. So that's what's in it for us, but there's also something in it for you. So if you go to the chat and answer these two questions, we're going to do a drawing at the end of today's webinar. And the drawing is just going to be people who were on today's webinar live. And we're going to do a drawing, and we're going to give away $5,200 worth of realtor gear. So all of our apps, all of our software, all of our playbooks, calculator scripts, you name it. We basically threw it all together as one giant package. If you were to pay up front for it, it'd be like over $5,000 for the year. Yes, John, this is live. I see your test comment. It'd be over $5,000, but we're going to give it to one lucky agent for free when we do this drawing at the end of today's webinar. And the only thing you have to do to be in that drawing is just go to the chat and answer these two simple questions. So I want you to go to the chat, answer what market are you in, and how many transactions do you want over the next 12 months? So Timothy's in Brooksville, Florida, 24 deals. In Dennis Sigmund is Orlando, Florida, 36 transactions. Bob is in Dacula, Georgia, 18. Sylvia, 36 transactions over the next 12 months. I love it. Kimberly's in Prussia, Pennsylvania, but how many transactions do you want? Patricia is in Dallas, Texas, like to do 60. And I want you guys to list not just your regular old goal, right? So everyone's got the goal that's like, oh, I want to do 10% more than last year, or I want to do one more transaction than I did last year. Instead, I want you to list your stretch goal. So what's the goal that when you say it out loud, it makes your palms sweat a little bit? So Kieran says, this webinar only in the States. I'm from Canada. No, this is absolutely, in fact, the first audience that we ever broadcast this webinar to, or this topic, was actually a predominantly Canadian, just a weird coincidence, predominantly a Canadian audience. So AJ, you're not late at all. We haven't even gotten started yet. So go to the chat, answer these 2 questions. You'll automatically be entered into a drawing. We're going to give away over $5,200 worth of realtor gear at the end of the webinar. One lucky agent is going to get all that stuff for free. And look, this is going to be a highly interactive webinar anyway. So you're going to have to get your typing fingers ready. You might as well go ahead and enter the chat and just type in what market are you in, so city, state, and then how many transactions, so just the number. So Barbie is in Miami, Florida, 76 transactions. Margarita is in Lewes, Delaware, 65. I love it. Lauren is in Delaware, 48 as a solo agent. Wow, big deal. Tony is in Charlotte, 24 transactions. Julie, 12 transactions in Fort Myers, Florida. Dolores in New Jersey. So keep it coming, guys. Come on in. Keep it coming. And I am absolutely pumped beyond belief to be doing this webinar. And you guys, you know, I do a lot of webinars. Some of you guys have attended webinars in the past. Some of you never have. This is your first time ever. But I'll tell you, if this is your first webinar, you picked a great one to attend, because this is all about how to basically get an unending supply of listings. And this is with some brand new content, because I know that one thing that realtors are worried about right now is they're worried, hey, what's happening in the market? Some markets are cooling down. Some markets maybe not doing as well as they were this time last year. Can you still take a lot of listings? Can I still beat my goal from last year? And the answer is absolutely yes. And this playbook has actually become more powerful as the market begins to slow down. And some realtors are obviously dropping out of the business, or maybe they're going part-time, or maybe they realize they couldn't cut it. And so this particular playbook that I'm going to show you today is even more powerful as your market slows down. So some of you guys, you're still in raging hot markets, and that's great. This will work. Some of you guys, are kind of plateauing, and then some of you guys are actually seeing reduced home prices, not just price cuts, but this quarter over last quarter, home prices are down just a smidgen. And if that's you, then this playbook is even more powerful than ever. So it's one of the reasons why we chose to do it this week, and we updated it with a ton of new downloads and a ton of new content. So this is the first time we've ever done this particular webinar, and I think you guys are going to love it. So keep it coming. I see there's a ton of answers. I can't read all of them. I can't read all of them, unfortunately, but welcome from Canada. Welcome for all U.S. agents. This is good for every agent in North America and beyond. This strategy actually isn't specific to any geographic location. You guys are going to love it. But if you're just joining, come on in. I always like to say, grab yourself a beverage, go to the fridge, get yourself a drink. What are you guys drinking? Are you guys drinking coffee, drinking water? Grab yourself a beverage so you don't have to get up later. I'd hate for you to have to interrupt the webinar. And get comfy in your seat. And we're going to get started in about 2 minutes. But in the next 2 minutes, I want to give everyone a chance to go to the chat and answer these 2 questions. So we're going to get started in 2 minutes. You have 2 minutes to answer these questions. I want you to go tell me, what market are you in? And how many transactions do you want to do over the next 12 months? So I've already gone, but if you missed my chat, then I'm gonna do it again. My name is Chris Jones. I'm in Fayetteville, North Carolina. Run the Guerrilla Realty team with my brother Levi, and we want to do 150 transactions over the next 12 months. That's our stretch goal. So stretch goals only. Okay. Everyone's got the goal that's like, I want to do one more deal than I did last year, or 10% more than I did last year. I want you guys to tell me about your stretch goal. So this is cone of safety. No one's going to pick on you. No one's going to make fun of you for having a really ambitious goal. I want you to tell me, what's the goal that makes your palms sweat when you say it out loud? All right. So we got Suzanne in New York, 50 deals. Patrick in Panama City Beach, Florida, 75. AJ's in Orlando, Florida, 36 transaction. Hey, Bridget Johnson, welcome to the webinar. Giovanna's in Toronto, 24 deals. I'm loving it. June is in Central Florida. Chris says coffee all day. It's a Louisiana way of life. You know, Chris, I got a bone to pick with you. I visited New Orleans for the first time ever last summer, so just over a year ago. And everyone's raving all about the Cafe au lait or the Cafe du Monde, the coffee, the drip coffee with the chicory in it. I wasn't a big fan. I'm an espresso drinker, but I also love just a good old cup of Folgers, when that's all that's available, or whatever cheapo coffee. Wasn't a big fan of the New Orleans coffee. Maybe it's an acquired taste. Maybe you could take me out and set me straight one day next time I visit. All right. So this is your last chance. We got 60 seconds to go. If you want to be entered to win a drawing at the end of today's webinar, we're giving away over $5,000 worth of realtor gear. That's going to be all of our apps, all of our software, all of our playbooks, all of our calculators, and all of our call scripts. We package it together. If you were to pay for it, it'd be over $5,000, but we're going to give it to one lucky agent for free. And the only thing that you have to do in order to be entered into that drawing, really simple, okay? Just go to the chat and tell me what market are you in and how many transactions do you want to do over the next 12 months. It's so easy. You can see everyone else is already doing it. And the minute that you type that in, you are entered. Nothing else needs to be done. I'm giving you guys 30 seconds from right now, and then we're going to get started, okay? And I'm going to adjust my lighting setup, see if that's okay. Can you guys see my face pretty good? All right, just want to make sure that we are good to go. So here we go. Randy's in Northern Cali, 90. We've got Mike in San Antonio, Texas. Ranga and Nova, 30 luxury deals. The answers are coming too quick for me to catch everybody, but go ahead and get it under the wire. We got 20 seconds to go. And then we're going to be down to 10 seconds. And we're just about to, so get your answers under the wire. I know we're on a slight delay, so get your answers under the wire. But we're going to do the cutoff right now. And then I know you guys are ready. I'm beyond ready. So we're going to jump straight into the webinar. So welcome, guys. Welcome to our webinar today. My name is Chris Jones. I'm the founder and CEO of Guerrilla Realty. And what we do at Guerrilla Realty is we do tools and training to help you rapidly grow your real estate business. And my favorite way of all the ways that we help you rapidly grow, hands down, my favorite thing that we do is live webinars. And we do at least one live webinar every single week. And some of you guys have been on one before. Some of you guys, this is your first time. But I'm going to make a bold statement. If today is your first webinar that you've ever been to with our company, with me, I guarantee you this will be the best webinar you go to over the next 12 months. And best webinar you go to all year. So before we get started, I want to do a last second audio visual check. Can you guys confirm that you can hear my voice crystal clear? I'm on a new mic setup. Just want to confirm that. And that you can see my face such as it is. And then more importantly, you can see my screen, which should read a simple 3-step playbook for limitless listing leads. And if you can hear me and see my face and see my screen, you just comment a yes, 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 or loud and clear, or thumbs up, or good to go. And as soon as I see those comments come flooding in, we are going to get underway. We're going to get started. So it sounds good. Good. 10-4, yes. Yep. Yes. Okay. So without further ado, we're going to jump into this, right? So I have this crackpot theory, and this is the basis for this webinar. I have this crackpot theory that any agent in any market with any level of experience can take over 50 listings per year if they get enough quality listing leads, right? That's really the number one secret if you want to take more listings, or you want to take over 50 listings a year, or maybe you just want to take 10 listings a year, maybe 10 luxury. It doesn't matter. If you want to take more listings, you want to grow the listing side of your business, it really just comes down to the number of listing leads that you're putting into your business every month. And I'm going to show you a free ad that we run to bring us 12 solid listing appointments every friggin' month. And I'm going to walk you through the entire playbook today. So if you've never joined one of our webinars before, then let me preface it by saying that our webinars have been featured by the National Association of Realtors. Maybe you've heard of them. They've been featured on Inman News. They're pretty good. They've been featured by The Close, and less people know about The Close, but go to theclose.com, join their free newsletter. It's my favorite realtor newsletter that I belong to. I learn something almost every email that gets sent out, and it's free to join. You can go to theclose.com and do that. And then finally, we've been featured by CNN. And look, I don't say any of this to brag, but rather just to establish our credibility very quickly. All right. So I made a bold statement a couple of minutes ago, and maybe you're just joining, so you're catching up. But look, this is going to be the best webinar that you go to all year. And I don't make that statement lightly. Okay, so when we build a brand new webinar, over 100 man hours go into every single webinar that we create from scratch, right? And this one is no exception. In fact, not only do 100 hours go into it the first time around, but we actually recently updated it and changed huge portions of it. And we put another 100 man hours into creating this webinar. So we start every webinar with that promise in mind that, look, this has to be the best webinar that any realtor goes to all year. So if you're sitting there and you're wondering, okay, Chris, how can you brag so hard about a webinar? Or you're wondering what makes your webinar so great? Well, there's 3 really simple rules that we follow to make sure that this webinar is great and that it's going to be the best one you go to all year. So rule number 1 is it has to be something you can absorb in under 45 minutes. All right. So the mind can only absorb what the butt can endure, right? That's something my dad used to say. And so we're not going to keep you here forever. It's going to take a little less than 45 minutes to get through all the lessons. Rule number 2 is it has to be something you can execute in under 2 hours. All right. So this is going to be ultra crunchy. Everything that you learned today, the playbook that I'm going to walk you through, the baby steps in just a moment, you can go out and execute it today in under 2 hours. And so you know what that means? Got some bad news for you guys. It means that there are absolutely no excuses, no matter where you are in the world, no matter what time zone you're in, not to go and execute this today. So go to the chat. Okay. I want to ask you guys to do something. Go to the chat, get your typing fingers ready. If you are on team execute, then I want you to comment the word execute and go to the chat right now, type the word execute. And what that means when you type the word execute is that you have made a quiet commitment in your own heart that you are going to go out and you are going to execute the baby steps that I teach you today, the entire playbook that I teach you today. It'll take you less than 2 hours and you are going to go out and execute, right? I don't want you guys to fall into the trap like so many agents, like I've been there before, right? I'm guilty of this too. We learn a cool new idea, something we know intuitively would work or grow our business. And then what do? We sit on it and we don't do anything. And so I want you guys, and it's not for me. I don't care if you guys execute it or not, okay? It doesn't change my life in any way, but I do root for you. And so I want you to go and hear the comments come pouring in. Ashley, Kath, Tim, Susan, like everybody's coming in, okay? Excellent. That means you're on team execute and you're committed. You've made that quiet commitment in your own heart to go out and execute this today. And just by commenting that word, the way the psychology of it works is you are twice as likely now to go out and execute. And that brings you to rule number 3, which is if you execute, we guarantee that you will get a result in under 24 hours. All right. And the reason why this is my favorite webinar that we teach is that the particular result that we guarantee from this webinar, anybody know what it is? It's a booked listing appointment on your calendar. All right. So by this time tomorrow, so check your watch. Okay. Check your iPhone, check your computer, check the time of day that it is right now. Okay. And by this time tomorrow, the same time tomorrow, I guarantee if you go out and do this execution, right? So you're on team execute. I guarantee that you will have a brand new booked listing appointment on your calendar by this time tomorrow. So quick poll, how many of you guys that'll change your week or change your month for you to have a brand new booked listing appointment on your calendar by this time tomorrow? Anybody? All right. So those are the 3 rules we're going to follow. And then as a bonus, we're also going to load you up with a ton of free downloads. And of course, this webinar is no exception. In fact, I think this webinar, I load you up with more free downloads than any other webinar I've ever taught. So buckle up, get ready. We're going to jump into it. We're going to break this down into 3 crunchy lessons. All right, guys. So lesson number 1 is where to get a limitless supply of listing leads. So important, right? I told you about my crackpot theory before, is I've never met an agent that we couldn't take to 50 plus listings per year if they got enough quality listing leads, right? So no matter where you are, what your goal is, the secret to you growing your listing side of your business is to just increase the number of quality listing leads that you get on a monthly basis. And so lesson number 1, I'm just going to walk you through the baby steps, where to get a limitless supply of listing leads. Fantastic, right? Lesson number 2 is we're going to keep it ultra crunchy here. The 3 things you can do today to book 12 new listing appointments. This is why I want you to be so friggin' committed to going out and executing today, right? There's just 3 simple things you can do today to book 12 new listing appointments. And I want to ask a quick poll. How many of you guys, if you took 12 new listing appointments, that you would absolutely assuredly, beyond a shadow of a doubt, crush your stretch goals this year? All right. So I just asked you a few minutes ago, what's your stretch goal? How many transactions you want to do over the next 12 months? Okay. So if you took 12 new listing appointments this month, and then you learn how to do it every month, how many of you guys would absolutely blow your stretch goal away? Cass says crush it. Andrea says yes. Sally says yes. How many of you guys would just blow it away, like blow it out of the water? Like it wouldn't, no contest, okay? Forget about struggling to get your goal. You just absolutely crush it. Donna says yes. Linda says yes. Joe says me. Yvette says that'd be amazing. For show would crush it. Jared said yes. Okay. And here the comments come pouring in, okay? So that's lesson number 2. You got to pay attention, but here's the deal. Lesson number 3 is hands down the most important lesson I'm going to teach today, how to create an evergreen system that brings you the leads on autopilot. Do you guys know what I mean when I say evergreen? I know that some of you guys don't, so I like to say it like this. Have you guys ever done a boot camp before? Has anybody ever signed up for a boot camp? You know the deal. Like so you do like a listing boot camp or a real estate boot camp or some kind of business boot camp. And maybe you've never done that, but maybe you've done a diet and fitness boot camp, or maybe you just know somebody. So your brother, your sister, your cousin, your uncle, your aunt, your friend did a boot camp. You guys know that they're based on the premise. Every boot camp is based on the premise that you're going to work really, 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 really hard. Okay. At this totally unsustainable pace. And you're going to do it for like 7 days or like a 21-day challenge. Or I've seen listing boot camps that last 90 days. So you're going to work at this unsustainable pace for 90 days. Does anybody know what happens after the boot camp is over? Go to the chat. I want to talk to you guys. I want to see if anybody's on the same page as me. How many of you guys know what happens after the boot camp comes to an end? Talk to me. What happens after the boot camp comes to an end? I know we're in a slight delay. I'm waiting for the chat. Brandy Edwards says you quit. Cherise says complete burnout. Go back to normal life. Giovanna friggin' nailed it. I say you guys are all on the same page as me, but Giovanna nailed it. What I like to say is that you go back to life as usual. Right? And look, let me just stress this to you guys. I want to underscore this. The last thing that I want for anybody within the sound of my voice right now is for you to go back to life as usual, right? So lesson number 1, limitless supply of listing. Lesson number 2, 12 new listing appointments. What are the 3 things you can do today? But once you've done it once, I want to show you the tools and strategies, how to turn it into an evergreen system, because evergreen means that it works year round and that the listings are constant. And that's what I want. I never want you guys to lose momentum again. I want you to keep that momentum constant. Okay. And so those are the 3 lessons. So there are going to be some tools required. If you want to go out and execute today, you're going to need some stuff. All right. So the first thing is you're going to need my copy and paste ad. I promised you that I would share the free ad, my high converting lead gen ad that you can copy and paste and run on, for example, Craigslist, but I'm going to show you some other places where you can run it that will bring you a solid 12 listing appointments per month. All right. And I'm going to give you this for free just for attending today's webinar. You can download it. It's yours to keep forever. All right. Then next, you're going to need Callster. So Callster is a free app that we've built. It's meant to be a briefcase of all of our favorite call scripts. And I'm going to show you our conversion script. So how do you take a lead that you've generated from a free ad and turn it into a listing appointment? This is the script you're going to need. And by the way, even the most extreme introverts love this script because everybody feels comfortable using it. Right? And this is still the same script I use to convert seller leads today. Right? And then you're also going to need my bulletproof CMA app. So this is a brand new beta access to my CMA app. This is the actual app I use to run CMAs and to get listing appointments. This is how you seal the deal so that you're sitting down at their table or doing a Zoom conference with them where you actually get to give your listing presentation, right? This is my secret weapon. And I'm going to turn on my trusty laser pointer and I'm going to go full geek mode. I hope you guys can forgive me. I got to put the glasses on because everything's looking blurry for me, right? And then finally, I'm going to strongly recommend that you get Pro Tools. So if you're not familiar, Guerrilla Realty, our flagship product is Pine Clay Pro Tools, right? And it's a complete marketing engine for realtors, and it's going to make everything that you do today 1,000 times easier and 1,000 times more effective. But let me back up for just a minute, because this is where someone's going to go to the chat and say, oh, I see, Chris, this is just a big fancy sales presentation. Not true. So everything that you need to go execute today is going to be included 100% for free, right? So if you're on Team Execute, it doesn't matter whether you want to buy something or don't want to buy something at the end. You can go out and execute, okay? But I'd be lying if I told you your results are just as good with or without Pro Tools. Pro Tools will make you 1,000 times more effective. Okay. And so for that reason, I am going to do the 90-second obligatory pitch at the end, but it's actually really cool. There's some free stuff attached with it, whether you buy anything or not. And so for that reason, you guys are going to be glad that I did, but rest assured, right? It doesn't make me any money to say this. Okay. You can do this with or without Pro Tools. And I want to be really clear about that. Fair enough? All right. Fair. All right. So let's jump into it. Lesson number 1, I've got Shasta, this a-hole, telling me to get to the point. All right. So the way that we teach webinars is very, very thought out and purposeful. So Shasta, if you don't have time, if you've got someplace else to be, I recommend that you go ahead and get there early, right? Feel free to leave, right? But if you want to learn something, if you want to learn the baby steps that I used to take over 100 listings last year, then stick around. So lesson number 1 is an unending supply of listing leads. You guys ready for this? All right. So let me show you my best source for seller leads. And before I actually unveil my source for seller leads, what I want to do is I want to talk to you about what are the criteria that I use to judge seller leads, right? So the best source for seller leads is going to be something where there's no competition, right? Everyone's been in that situation where you're calling Zillow leads or you're calling FSBOs or you're calling expireds. And what do we hear? Oh, you're like the 7th realtor who called me today. And it sucks, right? And you don't have to be afraid of competition. I'm certainly not. But it's always better when you're the first and the only realtor who's in contact with this lead. Agreed? All right. So next, you don't want to have to cold call for 4+ hours a day, right? So if you've ever done the FSBO expired thing, right? Or you've ever done the door knocking or the circle prospecting thing, right? How many of you got, do we have any cold call warriors on the phone? So I'm raising my hand. So do we have any cold call warriors? Anybody that still does cold calls to expireds or FSBOs or that kind of door knockers? Do you have any warriors here on the webinar, right? It's okay. Cone of safety. We're not going to judge you. I'm raising my hand. Okay. I've done the FSBO expired thing, right? And I did get some results, but the reason why the best source for seller leads doesn't involve cold calling is because it's not scalable. So you want to double your business, right? You have to go from calling 4 hours a day to calling 8 hours a day. And you just don't have time in the day to do 8 hours worth of cold calls. All right. So the best source, you don't want to cold call. And then the best source is going to be an unending supply. So if you've ever done Zillow leads, well, you're just waiting around for them to send you the 1 or 2 leads a week, right? And there's not an unending supply. Like once you call them, you're out until they send you more leads. It's the same with FSBOs and expired. So if you pay for one of those services that sends you free leads, oftentimes you run out mid-month and you're having to wait till next month to get more leads. So you aren't in control of your listing lead pipeline, right? So there's not an unending supply. This source there is, right? And then finally, and this was a game changer to me. You guys probably saw me like visibly release my breath when I said that, just like take a deep breath and sigh. They want to talk to you. So I don't know if any of you guys can relate to this, but talking to leads that don't want to hear from you, that hang up on you, that cuss you out, that look, I've got thick skin, right? This stuff doesn't scare me. It doesn't make me want to give up. Maybe it does for some of you guys, I don't know, but it doesn't for me, right? But I'll tell you, when I actually started talking to leads that were excited to hear from me, that when I didn't follow up with them, they actually followed up with me. This happened just the other day. I was waiting on a lead and they actually called and said they wanted to put in an offer. They reached out to me. And it's because of the lead source that I use, right? So it's a game changer for you when the lead wants to talk to you guys. So trust me on this, guys, absolute game changer. All right. So they want to talk to you. So what is this magical source for seller leads that's all like rainbows and unicorns and puppy dog tail, all this? Okay. What is it? Well, I'm probably going to blow your minds here, but I want you to stick with me because I'm going to prove it with numbers, right? So the best source for seller leads is buyer leads. What? Right? Your heads are exploding. Your jaw's on the floor. So scoop your jaw up off the floor, okay? The best source for seller leads is buyer leads, right? It's where we took 95% of all of our listings last year. We took over 100 listings last year. And I'm going to prove it to you with numbers, all right? So walk with me through this. So this is a pie chart from the National Association of Realtors Buyer Profile 2021. So we like to update this every year. Every year, the numbers change just a little bit. All right. So what you're looking at is a pie chart that represents all of the buyers in your market today. And there are more buyers in your market today than there have ever been in history, right? Even with the market cooling off, even with interest rates going up and purchasing power going down, there's still more buyers because there is just a housing shortage crisis. You have millennials coming of age, right? At the same time that life expectancy is going through the roof, okay? There are more buyers in the US today than there have ever been at any point in history. So there's a huge pie, okay? But here's what we know about this pie, right? This first slice of the pie, this red slice that represents 34% of all the buyers in your market are known as first-time home buyers, right? This is how we know that millennials are taking over. Is it used to only be 25% of all the buyers in your market were first-time home buyers. Now it's leapt up to 34%, okay? And what we know about first-time home buyers is it's the first home they've ever bought, so we know that they've got nothing to sell. We're just going to ignore them. These are not listing leads, okay? Now, the second slice of the pie is 15%. Now, this number is actually shrunk just a little bit. It's usually closer to 20%. But it's shrunk to 15%. 15% of all mortgages initiated in 2021 were non-primary home purchases. So these are vacation homes, investment homes, summer homes, beach homes, etc. Meaning when the person buys it, they're not selling their primary residence or their principal residence in order to buy it. They're just adding to their portfolio, whether it's a rental or a flip or whatever. These are non-primary purchases. So when you add these numbers together, okay, what it leaves is this massive blue slice of the pie, right? Which represents 51% of all the buyers in your market are also known as, you've probably already guessed it by now, they're also known as sellers, all right? So we're going to ignore the red and orange slice of the pie, but this blue slice of the pie, 51% of all the buyers in your market today are also known as sellers, all right? And so I'm going to walk you through the baby steps of how we convert those buyers into listing appointments, all right? But here's how it works, right? You have to start with a buyer lead playbook, and most agents don't have a consistent buyer lead playbook. So quick poll, go to the chat. How many of you guys have a consistent buyer lead playbook? Maybe you're buying leads from Zillow, or you're running open houses, or you're sitting duty desk at your local office. Those are all examples of buyer lead playbook. So playbook is just a terminology that we use for a step-by-step formula that you use to get leads. And a lead is just a name and a phone number of somebody that we know is going to be buying within the next 100 days. All right. And I'll get into it later, how we know about those statistics, but that's what a buyer lead playbook is, just step-by-step formula. You're getting leads, and a lead is just a name and a phone number of somebody that we know is going to be under contract soon. Sound good? Sounds good. So I'm going to give you today, if you don't already have a buyer lead playbook, if you do, great. If you don't have a consistent buyer lead playbook that's bringing you enough buyer leads to get listings from it, then I'm going to give you one today, right? So if you're in the US, I'm going to give you our Craigslist playbook. Now, Craigslist playbook is just one of our 26 playbooks that you get when you join Pro Tools. But instead of having to pay for anything today, I'm going to let you download it at the end of today's webinar, 100% free of charge. All right. So if you're running the Craigslist playbook, you should be able to generate about 80 buyer leads per month. And don't worry, I'll show you exactly how it works in just a minute. Right now, if you're in Canada and you're thinking, oh, we don't really use Craigslist, then don't worry. We have a counterpart playbook known as the Kijiji playbook. And if you're in the US and you're like, Kijiji, what? Then if you know, if you're in Canada, you know what we're talking about. But it also consistently produces 80 buyer leads per month. Right? So here's the deal. It doesn't really matter what you use. I'm going to give you both of these at the end of today's webinar, depending on whether you're in the US or Canada, but either one can bring you consistently 80 buyer leads per month. All right. And I'm just going to walk you through the high points of how this playbook works. But remember, I'm going to let you download the entire playbook, the step-by-step formula, at the end of today's webinar. All right. So step one is borrow a listing. Couldn't be easier. It's a really crucial part of the playbook. but it's very, very simple. And we walk you through and give you all the resources that you need in order to do that. Step 2 is write a high converting ad. And I admit that this part can be very tricky, but I'm going to include all of our copy and paste ads so that you don't have to worry about how to write a high converting ad. You can just copy and paste ours for free, right? Step 3 is point the ad to 3 lead capture devices. Okay. Now, if you don't have any lead capture devices, or more commonly, you don't have the money to invest in 3 lead capture devices, then I'm going to show you how you can use any smartphone as a lead capture device. We call this the poor man's method, and it's going to be included in the playbook that you can download at the end of today's webinar. All right. And then step 4 is get leads, rinse and repeat. As with most things, consistency is the key to your results. And again, last warning, we're going to let you download this entire playbook at the end of the webinar. Okay. So just forget everything you think you know about classified ads or Craigslist or Kijiji. Okay. Just in the last 90 days, we've taken $800,000 listings. In fact, we closed with a $1.1 million buyer. I heard a story of an agent who's running one of our playbooks who took a $1.3 million listing. And these are just recent. These aren't cherry picked. These are just recent results that we've gotten. So forget everything you think you know. If you understand our playbook, you'll understand how powerful it can actually be and how it can get some of your listings or borrowed listings actually on the first page of Google. All right. So if you are wondering, can you really get quality leads from classified sites like Craigslist? Then let me share some stats. And these come from Pew Research, right? But when you look at Craigslist leads from the background rate, a higher percentage of them are college educated. So the background rate would be just like Zillow. So the average Craigslist shopper versus the average Zillow shopper, a higher percentage are college educated. They have an average of 40 plus points higher credit score, FICO score average 751, okay? And they earn an average of $20,000 more per year per family, which makes them basically rich. When you add that to the, to the typical, median income, they earn a lot more. And you're probably thinking, well, I've done this before, and all I got was like low end investors, crap. You didn't know what you're doing. All right. But this is, and you can fact check me on this. This is what we know about classified leads compared to Zillow leads. So they sound like dream leads. Well, why the heck aren't I getting results like this? If I've ever tried this or my buddy tried this, how come we didn't get results like that? Okay. And so let me just show you the side-by-side comparison. All right. So if you have any doubt at all, let's just walk through the side-by-side comparison. So I'm going to compare Craigslist to 2 other really, really popular lead sources. And I think you're going to realize, I think you're going to have that light bulb moment where you realize, that's why it's so powerful. Okay. So let's talk about Facebook ads, right? So Facebook ads are really, really popular in 2022, right? So the reason they're popular is because they're really cheap, right? So if you're smart enough to run Facebook ads, you can get leads for about $4 per lead. Or if you're smart enough to hire somebody, that's what I like to say, then they can get you leads for about $4 a pop. Okay. The problem is, and we've run every Facebook ad playbook under the sun. If you've heard of it, in fact, if you haven't heard of it, we've run it, we've tested it. The problem is really low closing rate, right? So you're gonna generally burn through about 42 leads before you find anything that could remotely close, right? So really low closing ratio. And the reason why is that there's no buyer intent on Facebook. So when you're scrolling your Facebook feed and you see this sexy real estate ad and you get duped into submitting your information, it doesn't mean that you were there to buy real estate, right? I mean, why do we really log on to Facebook? Anybody willing to admit, code of safety, anybody really willing to admit that why we get on Facebook, right? So the reason I get on Facebook is just to check up on my high school friends and make sure that we're still more popular, more successful, and cuter than they are. That's the real reason why people log on to Facebook. So there's no buyer intent. Okay, now let's compare it to Zillow, big Z. All right. The problem, of course, with Zillow leads right out of the gate is that they're friggin' expensive, right? So it's generally about $1,000 per month per zip code. The average agent needs 3 zip codes in order to do average production, which means you're spending $3,000 per month. All right. Now, the good news is if you can afford to fork over $3,000 per month, you are going to enjoy a very high closing ratio. About 1 in 20 leads will actually go to closing and you get paid a commission on them, right? And the reason why you have this high closing rate is because of the buyer intent. So people go to Zillow in general because they're looking for real estate, period. And that's why the high closing ratio. Okay. Now let's compare it to Craigslist. So it's cheap like Facebook ads. In fact, if you want to be technical, it's actually free. Okay. You have an extremely high closing ratio. So it actually edges out Zillow. It's pretty close to Zillow, but I would say that it edges out Zillow because you're not sharing the lead with any other real estate professionals. It's 100% exclusive to you, right? And the reason why is because, again, there's buyer intent. Nobody logs onto Craigslist in the real estate section unless they're looking to buy, all right? So when you actually do the side-by-side comparison, it makes perfect sense why Craigslist is generating some of our most powerful leads. And again, Craigslist is just one of our 26 playbooks that we're running to generate leads, but it's the easiest with the most amount of traction for the typical agent to go out and get 80 buyer leads per month. And that's what I want you guys to set your sights on. Okay. So now that you're convinced that you actually can do something cool with Craigslist, let me show you how to write the ads. All right. So the link is on the screen, but just so you know, all of the resources that I mentioned in this webinar are going to be sent out in what we call a cheat sheet. So this and the apps and everything that we shared today in the webinar is going to be sent out in the cheat sheet, which is going to go out at 4 p.m. Eastern today. All right. So be prepared for that. If you don't want to chase down all the links, that's fine. I recommend that you just sit and wait for the cheat sheet. It'll have not only a summary breakdown of the entire webinar, but it'll also have a complete resource list with links to all of the links that I mentioned in today's webinar. Sound good? Sound good. All right. So don't worry, there will be a replay, there will be a cheat sheet, and you can get all the downloads then. All right. So writing the ads is really more about, I told you this part can be tricky, but I want to share the principles before I just share the copy and paste ads. So you can go to guerrillarealty.com/ad examples and get the copy and paste downloads. Okay. But I want you to understand the principles behind why the ads are so effective. Right. So it's more about what not to do than what to do. So first of all, do not list the price. Wow, Chris, that's what people want to know. Exactly. All right. Whatever people want to know, withhold it, because you're going to take that curiosity and you're going to drive it into an action at the end of the ad, right? So you want to harness that curiosity. You want to maximize it, not satisfy it, but maximize it and drive it into an action at the end of the ad. So first of all, do not list the price, right? We just list the price as $1. $1, Bob. All right. Then you're going to limit the photos to 2 or 3 exterior photos, right? So you want a couple of good photos. So many realtors fall prey to the myth that you got to post 50 photos to get anyone interested in the property. The truth is all you're doing is satisfying their curiosity, and they're not going to take any action at the end of that if their curiosity is satisfied. So limit the photos to just 3 exterior photos, your favorite 3 exterior photos. Do not list the master bathroom or the kitchen, because that's what every woman wants to see. And that's how you're going to generate the lead. All right. You're going to take that want, that desire, and you're going to drive it to an action. And then you're going to list 5 selling features. So I like the bullet list. All right. So many realtors fall prey to the myth. You have to be Charles Dickens to write this beautiful flowery language in order to attract anybody to an ad. But the truth is you can just list your 5 favorite features about this house, and that's the ad. Just do it as a bullet list, right? And then finally, you need a strong call to action where you can get more information. So you can get the location, the price, all the photos, maybe even a video tour by interacting with a lead device. And again, if you don't have a lead device, I'm going to show you the poor man's method inside our playbook, right? So that's how you write the ad, right? Now, once you get these ads running, okay, I want you to assume that you run the one playbook and you get 80 leads per month. You're about to see how friggin' powerful this is, right? So buckle up, guys. We're about to go wild, all right? So assume that you're running the one playbook and you're being ultra consistent with it. And no, you don't have to have your own listings to run this playbook. It's all included in the playbook. I'm gonna let you download at the end of the webinar, all right? So you're getting 80 buyer leads per month. Are you guys with me? All right, here's what we know. We know, according to the 2021 profile of home buyers and sellers published by the National Association of Realtors, that 51% will be selling their current home. 80 times 0.51 equals 41. So we have 41 sellers. So we started with 80 leads, 80 names and numbers of buyers. who are actively searching for homes in your market today equals 41 sellers. Now, unfortunately, that's not the whole story. All right. So according to the Business Wire, a Berkshire Hathaway company, roughly a third of all home purchases today are relocations. Right? Why is that important? Well, it means that they're moving from outside your area into your area. All right. And that means that only 67% are actually going to be selling locally. And those are the ones that you can represent. So you want to talk about getting listings, we need to know how many local listings. So look, guys, I'm like a Baptist preacher. If I'm not getting the hallelujahs and the amens, then I assume that you've fallen asleep. And so I need to hear from you guys. Is everyone tracking with me that now we started with 80 buyer leads, but now we've got 27 local listing leads. These are listings that will be on the market in the next 90 days, whether it's with you or with somebody else. All right. Now, that's not the whole story either. So we're not going to ever get a hold of every single lead that comes into our CRM, right? So this is the year 2022. Everybody's got caller ID built directly into their phone. Okay. Now, the reality is we have a reach rate of about 80% because of the follow-up strategies that we use. But even if you assume only a very conservative reach rate, where not everyone answers unrecognized numbers, but let's say you get a hold of 60% of all the local listing leads. This means you've actually had conversations with them. Are you guys following how powerful this is? So of the 27 local listing leads, okay, now we've actually had conversations with 21 of them. All right. Now, how many of you guys would love to have real conversations with 21 local listing leads every single month? How many of you guys that would change your business? Are you guys with me? How many of you guys that would like completely change your year 2023, your 2024 and beyond? Are you guys with me? All right. So now we've got the 21 contacts, and then this is where all the magic happens. We're going to apply a script here, okay, where once we've had the conversation with the listing lead, okay, we know that a certain percentage of them are going to say yes to our simple script. And trust me, even if you're the world's most extreme introvert, you're going to fall in love with this script because it makes the person glad that you called and it makes them want to talk to you. All right. So when you apply the script that I'm going to share with you in a minute, when you apply it here, it's going to result in 12 CMAs. And by the way, one of the reasons, if you're seeing these funky numbers, I apologize, this slide needed to get updated. We updated this entire webinar recently. And so some of the numbers, oops, fast forward, there we go. 12 CMA requests, so 12 CMAs, okay? And the reason why is we had to update our numbers according to the NAR buyer and seller profile, okay? So we keep these numbers up to date. These are very, very, very current. We just did the final update about 2 weeks ago, right? So it's going to result in 12 legitimate CMA requests. Now, we've been doing this for a while, so we're able to turn 12 CMA requests into 12 legitimate listing appointments, okay? But even if you're brand new to this and you fumble the football, or you don't know exactly what you're doing, even the worst, even the lousiest agent or the newest agent or someone who's brand new to listing is able to get 6 listing appointments from 12 CMA requests. So quick show of hands, how many of you guys feel confident that if you were getting 12 CMA requests that you could get at least 6 listing appointments per month? Okay. So that's like the worst case scenario. So if you were getting 6 new listing appointments per month, now again, we get 12 listing appointments per month. 12 CMA requests means 12 listing appointments. We are very good at getting this converted. Okay. But if you were getting 6 listing appointments per month, I want you to comment, how many listings do you think you would take from 6 listing appointments per month? So I know some of you guys are going to be batting 1,000. You're going to have 100% close ratio. You're going to get 100% of the listings signed. Some of you guys aren't as confident. So maybe you're only going to sign like half of them. Okay. So comment the number. If you were getting 6 listing appointments per month, how many listings would you actually get signed? Valerie says all of them. Anastasia says 2. Russ says 3. 6, 4 to 5, 3, 4, 3. So these are very realistic numbers. Okay. Now here's what I want to know. If that's how many listings you're taking per month, then how many of you guys are crushing your stretch goal? And don't worry, Shasta asked, where do we get the lead, or where do we get the copy and paste ads? I'm going to share it again at the end of the webinar, and it's also going to be included in the cheat sheet. Okay. So how many of you guys would crush your stretch goal if that's the number of listings you were getting signed every month? All right. So I want you to remember this formula. 80 buyers equals 12 quality listing opportunities. So some of you out there are going to get 80 buyers, and you're actually going to sign 12 listings every single month. That's what we do. All right. That's what we do. Some of you are going to get 80 buyers, and you're only going to get 3 or 4 or maybe 5 listings per month. But how many of you guys could build a freaking outrageously successful business, real estate sales business in your market with 3 or 4 or 5 listings? You guys with me? I mean, come on, get excited. Right? But remember this formula, 80 buyers equals 12 legitimate listing opportunities. Okay. So once you've got the listing leads, and I'm going to give you our playbook, the Craigslist or Kijiji playbook at the end of today's webinar. Once you've got the buyer leads flowing in, then you need our seller conversion script. So how do you convert a buyer into a selling opportunity, right? A listing opportunity, right? So I'm going to give you the script here in just a minute. I'm going to role play through it with you, show you how easy it can be, even if you're an extreme introvert, to book 12 listing appointments. Okay. Now, the seller conversion script, and I'm going to let you download it here in just a minute, okay? The link is callster.io. This is our free app that we've built. It's a briefcase of all of our favorite scripts, and you're looking for the script entitled the seller conversion script. But you don't have to chase down that link. I'm going to share it all in the cheat sheet, okay? So this is what the seller conversion script looked like. It begins like every typical buyer script, right? So, hey, I saw that you were interested in 323 Whitney Drive. Did you find everything that you need? Now, how many of you guys already know what's coming next? When I say, did you find everything that you need? How many of you guys know what's coming next, right? Well, you can already see. You can see ahead. I jumped ahead, all right? The lead is going to say, yep, I'm all set. They're going to, to use a metaphor, they're going to put up an insurmountable wall. Shook, right? Yep, I just made that sound effect up. But that is the sound effect of a buyer putting up an insurmountable wall. Shook. And the reason why is because people are terrified of realtors. All right? TB, don't worry. You don't have to know anybody that goes to Craigslist. They go anyway. And even if they didn't, many of your Craigslist ads are going to end up on the first page of Google. And I bet you know a load of people who go to Google. All right? So people hate realtors. Don't be offended. The reason why people hate realtors, I bet you could think of 3 realtors off the top of your head who you wouldn't trust them to drive your car to the grocery store, let alone manage the sale of your largest asset. How many of you guys, show of hands, how many of you guys can think of 3 agents who meet that description right now? Seriously, go to the chat. In fact, many of you guys can think of 3 agents in your own office who meet that description. And if that's the case, then it should be absolutely no surprise. Juan says so true, right? It should be absolutely no surprise to you that people are terrified of realtors, right? Anastasia can think of 3. Patrick can think of 3. Joni 3. Linda 3, right? We can all think of 3 realtors who meet that description. Susan says many. Juan says I wouldn't trust him as babysitter, right? And so when the person says, yep, I'm all set, or thanks but no thanks, or click, I got to get off the phone. The reason why is because they're terrified that you're going to be the typical realtor, used car salesman, and you're just going to pressure them to do something they're not ready to do, right? And so here's where you're going to insert the script, and you're going to bust through that insurmountable wall. I'm going to show you the secret that we use to bust through that insurmountable wall every single time. I'm going to role play through it, but you're going to have to download the script on your own. So you insert the script here. It's 2 really simple parts. The first one is identify who's selling and who's not. So when they say, yep, I'm all set yet, I say, no problem. Before I let you go, let me ask you, whenever you eventually find the home that you are looking for, are you going to be putting your current home up for sale, or will you be keeping it, right? Scripting is very important. You want to say it exactly this way. So will you be putting your current home up for sale, or will you be keeping it? Now, 49% of people are going to say something like, no, I'm living in mom's basement right now. This is my first ever home purchase. I don't own anything. Or I'm an investor. I'm just adding to my portfolio. 51% of the time, they're going to say, no, we're not rich. We're going to sell our house. We just have to find our replacement first. Are you guys with me? Do you guys see how powerful that is? Ding, 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 ding. You just found yourself the highest quality listing lead that you will ever meet. And now you can rinse and repeat every single week. Okay. So once we've identified the listing lead, part 2 is really simple. We offer the irresistible bribe, right? The irresistible bribe is the only thing that will ever bust down that insurmountable wall. So remember, shunk, they put up the insurmountable wall. How we're going to bust it down, right? Don't worry, Deb, it's in the script, and we're going to do an epic Q&A at the end of the webinar, but I want to move forward right now, okay? So part 2 of the script, once you've identified who the listing lead is, right? Ding, 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 we got our listing lead. This person's going to be selling soon, right? What do we say next? How do we turn it into a listing appointment? It's so easy. I love this part. I say, well, look, since you might be selling sometime in the next 3 to 6 months, we offer a free service that might be interesting to you. It's a free service we call a 50-point CMA or a bulletproof CMA. And what it is it's a very in-depth valuation of your property to tell you exactly what it's worth right now, right? It's every bit as accurate as a professional appraisal. The only difference is appraisals cost like $600 or $800 in some markets. And we do this service 100% for free just because we're passionate about helping people buy and sell real estate. Now, the cool thing is that if you take advantage of this service, you're not obligated to use us as your realtor. You don't have to list with us, right? We just like to do this for free. Is that something that would be helpful to you? Right? Don't worry, it's all in the script. You guys can download this later. I'm going to send it out in the cheat sheet that goes out at 4 p.m. Eastern today. So don't freak out if you couldn't memorize that or you weren't, scribbling notes fast enough. How many of you guys, after hearing me role play it, no matter how much of an extreme introvert you are, how many of you guys feel confident that you could deliver that? It's the simplest offer in the world, right? How many of you guys feel absolutely confident that you could go out and do that today? Seriously, take a buyer lead, deliver the script. Are you going to be keeping your current home or are you going to be selling it? Are you going to be selling your home or keeping it, right? And then once you have the comments are flooding and everybody can do this. Yes, the Bulletproof CMA is available in Canada, Giovanna. All right. Excellent. All right. So that's the script. Now we have the listing. Now we have the listing appointment. Okay. And this brings us to lesson number 2. What are the 3 things you can do to take 6 listings next month? And that's being conservative. We're going to take 12 listings next month from it. Okay. So what are the 3 things? Let's break it down and make it really simple. Thing number 1 is run the simple Craigslist or Kijiji playbook. So depending on if you're in the US or Canada, the Craigslist or Kijiji playbook. All right. No hesitation. Forget everything that you think you know about running a classified ad. If you run it to a T, you just check your ego at the door and just follow the steps exactly. I've never met a single agent who couldn't get easily 80 buyer leads in a month, right? So that's thing number 1 I want you to go out and do today is run the playbook. It works, okay? It'll take you about 45 minutes from start to finish if you follow all of the steps exactly, okay? And it's going to set you up that if you're consistent and you rinse and repeat, you're going to get 80 buyer leads over the next 30 days, okay? That's thing number 1. Everybody comfortable with it? Excellent. Okay, thing number 2 is call with the seller conversion script. Now, this is where you're going to want to say, hey, I kind of like the idea of what you got going on, but I'm going to send them an email instead, or I'm going to send them a text message instead. You won't get the results. Period, point blank, you won't get the results. So you have to call and insert the seller conversion script, which again, you can download at callster.io. All right. So if you don't have the script, don't worry. It's going out in the cheat sheet this afternoon. It'll be in your email. It's a super easy download. And when you get it, it'll have links to everything that I reference in this webinar. That's thing number 2. Everybody's still confident. Everybody's still confident. So Deb said, where do you get their number? Hold that question till the end. I'll tell you why. But if you're running the Craigslist playbook, just assume that you're getting names and numbers every time. We don't consider it a lead if you don't have their name and number. All right. Ashley says, if you don't have a listing to post, what should you post? It's in the playbook. We recommend that you borrow a listing. There's a zillion ways for you to ethically borrow listings from other agents, no matter what state or what country you're in. We will walk you through the simplicity of getting permission from others to advertise their listings on your social media. All right. All right. Thing number 2, seller conversion script. We're still feeling confident. It's going to take you about an hour to call through 80 buyer leads. And some of you guys are thinking it'll take longer than that. No, because not everyone's going to answer. And some that do answer are just going to be simple buyer leads. And it's up to you whether you work with the buyer leads. But if you're just waiting for the listing leads, it'll take you less than an hour. All right. Which brings us to thing number 3, perform a bulletproof CMA for free. You can access our app. It's beta access, but it's freaking awesome. I'm more proud of that than almost anything that we've ever built. And it's going to land you 6 to 12 listing appointments. Okay. 12 listing appointments. If you're super dialed in and you do what we do exactly, if you maybe are worried about fumbling a little bit, you're still going to end up with 6 listing appointments. And it's going to take an hour and a half to get all of those bulletproof CMAs performed, right? If you're doing 6 or 12 listing appointments, it's going to take about 90 minutes. It takes about 15 minutes for every appointment. So do the math. Okay. You guys with me? All right, I hope so. So that's thing number 3, and that's what's going to result in 3, all depending on how many listing appointments you're taking, on average 3 to 8 signed listings over the next 30 days, right? So the result is 3 to 8 signed listings, and the total time involved into your marketing engine, bringing you these opportunities and actually taking the listings is about 5.5. We'll just round to 6 hours per week. All right. How many of you guys are willing to devote 6 hours per week or 6 hours this week to getting 3 to 8 signed listings? Anybody? Yes, Mike, I'll show you how to put it into Excel if it's necessary, right? But actually, Bulletproof CMA, the app, you can get it at bulletproofcma.com, but it'll actually build a brilliant looking, beautiful looking one-page listing presentation that you can take to your appointment with you. All right. You know what I love? Like my heart is swelling right now. Okay. And it's not because, oh, I've got this huge audience, we have a full house. My heart is swelling right now because I'm seeing so many agents who maybe never thought of themselves as being able to list, take 50 listings in a year. And now I'm like seeing you guys swell with confidence. And you're like, I never realized that it was so imminently doable. I never realized that there was a lead source that could bring me enough listing leads. I never realized without being that mega rock star that's been in the business for 50 years and has a big network and is super rich and rubs shoulder with all the other rich people. I never knew that I could take 50 listings per year. But suddenly, now that you guys can see the exact steps, you can visualize yourself do it. And because of that, you're swelling with confidence. And so I absolutely love it. And so, Mike, just save that question. I'm not sure I understand what you're talking about. Just save it till the end. We're going to do an epic Q&A. We're almost there. And I'll make sure that no question goes unanswered. Okay, guys? All right. So this brings us to lesson number 3, hands down the most important lesson I'll ever teach you, which is how to create an evergreen system that keeps those listings flowing on autopilot all year round. All right. So this is what you need. You need a lead playbook. And I'm going to ask you guys again. I asked you earlier in the webinar, but how many of you guys already have a lead playbook? The cost for the Bulletproof CMA is nothing, but save those questions to the end. We're almost there. Okay, guys? So what's the difference? How many of you guys have a lead playbook? So how many of you guys already consistently get 80 buyer leads per month? Show of hands. Some of you guys probably do, right? Some of you guys probably have either your buy leads from Zillow or you buy leads from Zerple or ZBuyer, or who knows where you get your leads from. You have a lead playbook already. Most of you don't. And that's one of the reasons that stops realtors from hitting their goals is most realtors don't have a consistent playbook that's bringing them the right number of leads. They basically wait on referrals. They wait on, somebody to do some advertising for them, or they answer the phone at just the right time and they get a lead, but it feels by chance. Okay. And it doesn't feel like it's ever going to be consistent or ever be able to help them consistently grow. So the first thing you need is a lead playbook. And I'm going to let you, 5 minutes from now, I'm going to let you download our #1 playbook that we use to generate listing leads. I'm just going to let you download the whole thing. Normally, it only comes with our Pro Tools system, and you got to pay for it. It would be worth $500 if you were to pay for it, but I'm going to let you guys, just for attending today's webinar, I'm going to let you download it for free. All right. So once you have the lead playbook and you have the leads coming in consistently, you're going to plug them into your follow-up system. The follow-up system has got to be you on the phone making real relationships with real people, and we give you the tools to do that. You need our seller conversion script. And again, all the downloads are going to be available in the cheat sheet that goes out in a couple of hours this afternoon. Just check your email, okay? And then once you do that, once you have a consistent lead playbook, you have a consistent script or a consistent follow-up process that you use, like the seller conversion script, that's what's going to result in consistent listings. How many of you guys could imagine what it would be like to have multiple listings at all time? Right? I'm going to show you our process in just a second, but how many of you guys can imagine what it would feel like to not just have one listing at a time, but all year round, never have less than 2 to 3 listings? 2 to 3 active listings at all time. And you guys know what happens when you have listings. Not only does it bring you additional buyer and seller leads, okay, but those are guaranteed commissions, right? Listings right now in this market, even as the market cools, close at a 95% clip. Expireds are at an all-time low. And if you had consistently 2 to 3 active listings at all time, and just imagine where your business would be, right? It would be amazing, right? So let me show you Pipeline Pro Tools. This is the system that we use for making this evergreen for us, right? And it's really simple how we do it. Pro Tools is a complete marketing engine for realtors, right? So what we believe in our core is that real estate is the greatest business on earth, right? And unfortunately, every realtor, when they get into the business, about 5 minutes later, they realize that getting consistent clients is really freaking hard. It's about the hardest thing that you'll ever do. Anybody agree with that? So real estate is the greatest business on earth, uncapped earning potential, amazing talent stack that you're building. But every realtor discovers that getting consistent clients is about the hardest thing in the world. And the problem is that every realtor is abandoned to build their own marketing engine from scratch, right? So you're following this guy and that guy and this guru and this woman, and you're door knocking, but your broker's got you sending out letters, or mailers. And, at the same time, if you're not running Facebook ads or you didn't just start your TikTok account, then you feel like you're behind. And so none of it, after all of that, it's overwhelming. None of it is producing consistent results, if it's producing any results at all, right? So what we dedicated the last 10 years of our lives to, and what we're going to dedicate the next 10 years as well, is building that complete marketing engine so that any agent in any market with any level of experience can just turn the key and line up client after client after client after client consistently. And so if you're wondering, okay, what exactly is a marketing engine, Chris? That sounds great, but what is it? Really, there's just 3 elements. It's super simple. You need the library of proven marketing playbooks. And we have 26 proven marketing playbooks. We're always testing at least 3 to 5 new playbooks. And one of those is going to become our 27th playbook. All right. But you need a library of playbooks where you can just pull one off the shelf and say, this is what I'm going to do today. And it's going to bring me a host of new leads. All right. Element number 2 is you need all the software that's going to be required to execute it, because nothing sucks worse than learning a cool new marketing idea. And then the guru is like, oh, and then you got to go out and get your own website and your own infrastructure and your own software, right? So we make sure that inside the marketing engine, all the software is already provided so that you can one-click execute, right? And then element number 3 is you need one-on-one coaching. I don't care whether you think of yourself as like a one-man band and you'll never, ever need a coach, or you never, ever struggle. Maybe you're the world's greatest self-starter, but you need one-on-one coaching, somebody that's been there and done that. Everybody on our success team is a licensed active agent who uses Pro Tools and crushes it. And you need them there to grab your hand and put an arm around you to walk you through when you struggle. Okay. So let me just show you kind of inside some of the core elements of Pro Tools. You have an automatic ad creator, which will actually write the Craigslist and Kijiji ads for you. And then also the 3 lead capture tools that you need to really rock it with this playbook are also included. So you have a lead website, which also captures CMA requests, super important since we're talking about listings. But you also have the phone capture system and the text capture system. And then, like I said, most importantly, unlimited one-to-one support and coaching where we will hold your hand through the entire process. So my brother and I, the founders of Guerrilla Realty, we're involved on the coaching team, but then everybody else on our success team is a licensed active agent who uses the tools and crushes it. And so they'll be able to just squeeze your hand and walk you through everything until you get results. Okay. And then as far as I know, Pro Tools also comes with the only 100% risk-free guarantee in the industry with no fine print. All right. So no fine print means no eligibility rules or, oh, you bought on a Tuesday after 5 p.m. So I can't look. If you join Pro Tools and you do the work, and I want you to be able to show that you did the work, but if you do and you don't make massive progress towards your number one stretch goal, and you told me what your stretch goal was, if you don't make massive progress and you get to be the determiner of who, what that is, then you send us one email and we will insist on a full refund. We want to assume all the risk here, none of it left on you. And everybody on the team knows the deal. This is a promise that we live and die by. And I take this very seriously. Okay. All right. So that sounds amazing, Chris, but what's the cost? There's got to be some catch. It must cost like $1 gajillion, right? Well, no. If you're going to go out and get all this stuff separately on your own, it's going to cost about $8,328. And if you're wondering, did I pull that number out of my butt? No, I did not. We actually do a quarterly update to find the cheapest viable alternative to what we do here at Pro Tools, right? So a lead website, cheapest viable alternative, 120, call capture 89, text capture 50, ad creator 39, a playbook library 99, and one-to-one coaching. Cheapest viable alternative, meaning someone who's not a shyster, is over $300 a month. All right. So luckily for you, we bundle everything together so we don't have to charge anywhere near that amount. Instead, it's $16.99 for the entire year, right? Which breaks down to, if you were to divide by 12, $142 per month, right? If you were to take the annual option, right? But it includes the entire Pro Tools system, instant access to all of our playbooks, coaching, support, etc. Okay, so that's the cost. All right. Now, I want to give you guys a reason to act today. So just like a today only incentive. And so bonus number one I want to give you guys today is a Craigslist ad coach. So if you're raising your hand and you're like, hey, this sounds really cool, but it seems like there's a lot of steps and I might mess it up, right? What if you got a private 1-hour session with a certified coach, unlimited troubleshooting? So once the ad went live, you actually had somebody to bounce ideas off of who could go back and tweak it and tweak it and tweak it until you got it just right, so that you were bringing in 12 listing appointments per month. This would usually cost you $500 for this service every time you did it. I want to throw it to you guys for free just for joining Pro Tools today. All right. And by the way, it includes a guaranteed closing in under 60 days. So it absolutely pays for the entire program. Right. And then bonus number two, to make this a true no-brainer, is I want to give you instant access to our FU Masters program. So FU Masters stands for Follow-Up Masters. My brother and I were just, it's what we are, follow-up masters. We have become masters at converting a lead into a closed transaction. And what we've realized is not as complicated as most agents want it to be. It's really just down to 2 key conversion scripts and having a timing system in place. And this system we used to sell for $3,500. It's ultra simple. It's ultra easy to learn. And I want to give it to you for free. And again, we guarantee a closing in 60 days if you go through it. So that's bonus number 2. And then finally, I want to give you the promo code. So if you go to pipelineprotools.com/pricing, you can buy this today. And the promo code at checkout is all capital letters, all one word, bulletproof. Okay. Now here's the deal. This is for action takers. It expires tonight, but I want to stop with the hard sell. Okay. If you just want to say, hey, Chris, what's the next right action that I need to take if I want to take more listings, or I want a consistent playbook that's going to be bringing me leads or listings or whatever? If I just want to go evergreen, like what you're talking about, Chris, it sounds nice. Consistency sounds great. What do I need to do? And what I want to recommend is that you get a demo. And if you get a demo today, in fact, I'm going to put a green button on your screen right now. If you get a demo today, I have a freaking amazing incentive, right? And that incentive is, if you book a demo, I will give you one of our top 3 internal marketing playbooks, 100% free of charge. Now, like I said, I recommend the Craigslist playbook, but ultimately it's your choice what you want. All you have to do is book a demo. So click the green button, go grab a slot. And by the way, we're going to run out. So don't sit around and wrestle over the decision for hours. We're going to run out, but book a demo at a time that's convenient for you. Show up for it. And after it's over, we're going to send you a direct download link where you can keep this playbook that normally only comes with our paid service. If we were going to sell it to you, it's $500, right? But we're going to give it to you 100% free, no strings attached, just for attending a demo. So go book a demo at a time that's convenient for you, and then come back and let us know that you booked. So just come back to the comments and say booked. Okay. And so I want you to get a demo. And by the way, one more incentive to get a demo is if you book a demo today, all of the bonuses that I just showed you are going to be automatically extended through the day and time of your demo, right? So if you're thinking, hey, those bonuses sound freaking amazing, I want them, book a demo and it'll automatically buy you some extra time. So through the day and time of your demo, because it takes us a while to get everybody in. But after the demo's over, and by the way, if you're thinking, hey, Chris, I don't do sales pitches, I'm just not interested. Nothing could be further from the truth, okay? We don't do sales pitches either. In fact, when you get a demo, you're going to get hooked up with either myself or one of our 3 marketing coaches, right? So these are like legit marketing geniuses, the guys that I work with one-on-one to build the marketing playbooks that you see in action today. Here we go. Book. So go book a demo, grab a time that's convenient for you, come back, and we're about to start our Q&A here in just a few minutes, but you're going to get hooked up with one of our coaches. And by the way, they're donating their time. So I do ask, don't be a flake. There's always like 1 or 2% of agents who don't show up. They're like, oh, I'm so busy. Oh, I had a showing appointment. Don't book a time if you don't think that you'll show up. All right. And no, you won't get the playbook. Okay. But that's okay. There'll be another offer for you some other day. Okay. But these guys donate their time and it's like a mini coaching session. So you're going to get, 15 to 20 minutes with someone where they dig into your business. They figure out what your lead number is. And then they walk you through 1 or 2 marketing ideas that you could run with today to go out and start crushing your lead number immediately. And again, with or without Pro Tools, there's no obligation or pressure to buy anything. You're not going to get a sales pitch, but you are going to get the behind the scenes tour, and you're going to feel empowered to go out and crush this the minute that demo's over. Right. And I have cool story after cool story after cool story of somebody who wasn't the right time for Pro Tools, or they didn't have the money to invest, but they got the playbook. They went and downloaded it and executed it consistently for 2 weeks. Ray Walmers in Honolulu, Hawaii, executed for 2 weeks, made an $18,000 commission on the sale of a condo after running our playbook for free. So I could share story after story after story, cool things like that. So go grab your demo. If you miss out, because we are going to book out, usually it takes about 8 minutes for us to be completely booked for the entire month. So if you miss out on your chance to get a demo, you're going to be kicking yourself later. All right. So just go book a demo, come back and let me know that you booked. So just say booked in the comment. And in just a moment, we're going to dive directly into the right into the Q&A. And I'll make sure that no question goes unanswered today. All right, guys. So just checking the schedule. We've got a few slots available tomorrow, Thursday, and Friday. Grab a slot that's convenient for you. Be patient, even if you can only get there Friday. Be patient. Wait for your slot to come up. After it's over, you'll get a chance to download the playbook of your choice. And of course, I recommend if you're in the US, download the Craigslist playbook. If you're in Canada, request the Kijiji playbook. Chris says, I use Pipeline Pro Tools and I have new leads every week and have new clients as a result. Thanks for the testimonial. Just so you guys know, Chris is not a plant. Didn't even know you'd be here today. In fact, usually when it comes to these webinars, we don't even invite existing users. So I don't know how you sneaked in there, but of course we appreciate you being here, and we appreciate, we appreciate the vote of confidence. So that's cool. But he's not a plant. He's not affiliated anyway. All right. So we're almost booked for Friday. We have a couple slots available on Thursday. Actually, strangely, there's more slots available tomorrow than any other day. So weirdly, there's a slot available today. So I'm going to give like 1 more minute for everyone who wanted a demo Anastasia said, I'm in Greece. What do you recommend? I recommend that you get a demo, Anastasia, as long as you have a call, a phone that we can call and do the demo. And then I recommend you following the playbook. You may not have Craigslist, you may not have Kijiji, but you'll have something in Greece. And I think that if you're committed, I think that you could be successful with Pro Tools and many of the other playbooks that we use. Or you could probably find a classified site that's like your country's version of Craigslist. Chris says, I want to win a free 1-year renewal. Oh, that would be amazing. Juan says, Chris for president. I appreciated it. All right, guys. So 30 more seconds. I'm going to make sure that everyone who wants a demo gets one. We're out of slots for today. We'll be out of slots for tomorrow and Thursday in a minute. We've got one remaining slot on Friday. All right, Friday's gone. Now we've just got Wednesday and Thursday. So grab your slot. It'll be gone soon. And we're going to go ahead and dive into the Q&A, right? So if you guys got questions, I do want to let you guys know my email address is on the screen right now. You guys can email me. Yes, I answer my own emails. But if you got a question, I'd love for you to ask me live. I'm going to spend like the next 5 to 10 minutes making sure that no question goes unanswered. Okay. Giovanna said, I spoke to Seth today. He is great. Excellent. Seth is amazing. He's one of the smartest marketing minds I've ever met. I hope you enjoyed it, Giovanna. And just curious, have you decided to take the leap and jump into Pipeline Pro Tools, or are you going to put the decision off for a while? I'm just curious. Joni said, I tried Monday, but it then filled up. I apologize. Linda's on Monday. So, Joni, we've still got Wednesday and Thursday if you can make it work. Jeff has a question. He said, Craigslist isn't letting me put another website or for more info, click here or anything like that. I'm in Spring Hill, Florida. So you cannot put an active hyperlink, but you can put a copy and paste call to action. And it's actually in the playbook how that works. So I hope that answers your question, Jeff. Mike says, I didn't write quick enough. On screen, you had a chart of 81 ... regarding the Craigslist pipeline. My question was that if it can be put into an Excel spreadsheet to track and to modify. That's actually a great idea for a marketing asset or a spreadsheet tool. So we might do that for you. But the simple formula for you to remember is 80 buyer leads equals 12 listing opportunities, right? So I just put that in the chat. 80 buyer leads equals 12 listing opportunities. So Susan just asked, how do you borrow a listing? And I love that you asked this question because it's something that most realtors just kind of fly by and ignore. And it's so important. So, one of the things about attracting leads online is you want to start with the best listings. The best listings always attract the best leads. So you want to take luxury listings, attract luxury buyers, and some of those will be luxury listings, right? And so to answer your question, Susan, it's really simple. We call with a simple script, we call the loaner script. It's a whole playbook that we teach, like a playbook within a playbook, all right? So we call it the loaner script, and we ask for permission, and then we follow up with a simple text message that qualifies as written permission. Now, why do we do this? Well, not in every state, but in most states, if you want to advertise another broker's listings, you have to get written permission from the listing agent. Now, I want you to check the rules and regulations in your areas. This is not legal advice, but 99% of the time, that's how it works. And so all you have to do is have a verbal conversation. Hey, do you mind if I include this in my social? Now, there's more to the script than that, okay? But do you mind if I include this in my social media advertising, which Craigslist qualifies as social media? And then all I do is I send a follow-up text that says, hey, I just wanted to confirm our conversation that you've given me permission to advertise 323 Whitney. And I don't even have to wait for them to reply. That constitutes written permission. So borrowing a listing, Susan, is ultra easy, but you're going to want to do it because even if you have your own listings, it's always better to borrow cherry-picked listings so that you can get cherry-picked clients. So Eileen says, my dilemma is not having my own listing and not wanting to get in trouble. Eileen, the process that I just walked Susan through is not going to get you in trouble. Send me an email at chris@guerrillarealty.com and tell me what your concerns are, and I'll walk you through it step by step, baby steps, okay? So Alexander says, so basically this system is about taking advantage of Craigslist. No. So why do we talk about Craigslist so much today? Well, the reason why is, look, we've got 26 lead generation playbooks inside of Pipeline Pro Tools. So when you're a Pipeline Pro Tools user, you have access to all of the playbooks that we've ever used to generate clients. Okay. Why do we focus so much on Craigslist? Well, we don't always focus on Craigslist. In fact, last week I taught a different playbook to generate really quality leads from your sphere of influence on Facebook. But the reason why we talked about Craigslist today is it's the easiest way for any agent in any market with any level of experience to load up their buyer pipeline. And when it comes to taking limitless listings, so no matter what your goal is, if you want to take more listings, you got to have a lot of buyer leads, right? And Craigslist is one of the easiest way for any agent with any level of experience to take a lot of buyer leads, right? I've never met somebody that couldn't go use our Craigslist playbook and with hardly any effort get 80 leads per month. Okay. Paula says that link takes you to a calculator. If that's the case, don't worry. We're going to make sure that the link is fixed when we send out the cheat sheet. I was not aware of that, but we'll get that fixed. Okay. Yvette Strickland says, didn't work for me. What's the offer? I thought it was free. So yes, it's free. If you want to download the Craigslist playbook, all you have to do is book a demo. I'm not sure that we have any slots left. I'm guessing that they're all gone. Yep. No times available this month. They're all gone. Yvette says, is this really free? Yeah, it was free, but now that the slots are gone, you're going to have to you just have to keep refreshing that link to see when more slots have been made available. So you book a demo, show up for your demo, and then after it's over, that coach will send you a direct download link for the free playbook. Right? That's how it works. Just an incentive for you to take a look at our system. You don't have to buy anything, and you're not going to get a sales pitch. Most people rave about how cool our demos are. So does anybody else have any questions? Seema said, I tried to schedule a demo, was told that there are no times available. So what do? Unfortunately, I warned you guys when we're out, we're out. And all you're going to have to do is wait until something else comes available. So just keep going back to that link, and we'll have new slots tomorrow, and grab a time when you can. So Eileen Brown also asked, can I download on my computer? Because I'm on my phone because I was not near a computer. Yeah, you can download all this stuff on the computer, and I'm going to send it out in the cheat sheet. So Doreen says, Chris, I sent you an email. And yeah, Doreen, let me go back and check to see. I don't remember getting an email from you, but I get a lot. I'll go back and I'll make sure that you get replied to. Cherise says, please tell us about FU Masters. I also have Pipeline Pro Tools. Okay, so Cherise, in all likelihood, you have access to FU Masters. All you got to do is contact our success team, and they'll put you in touch with that system. Nat says, wanted to hire a coach, thinking of you or Tom Ferry. What is the difference? Well, the difference is that Tom Ferry has never sold real estate. Hate to put too fine a point on it. I'm not knocking on Tom Ferry. I think that he's a brilliant guy. In fact, we actually briefly had a conversation about partnering on one of our apps. I think that he's awesome. But the problem is that you can't just get by on coaching, right? So if you want to have a marketing engine, you can have all three elements. You can have the library of marketing playbooks, right? Where you can just pick it off the shelf and just follow the step-by-step. And it's all written out for you as a step-by-step formula. You go to the library of marketing playbooks. You got to have all the software to execute. And Tom Ferry doesn't provide any software for you to go and execute. You're still going to have to go get your own website. You're going to have to get your own lead capture tools, etc. Okay. And then finally, you want to have unlimited one-on-one coaching from other licensed agents who are using the system and who are crushing it. And you get all three inside of Pipeline Pro Tools. And so I'm not here to knock Tom Ferry or to say, hey, we're better than Tom Ferry. Don't, if you ultimately decide to invest with Tom Ferry, God bless you, and we wish you the greatest success. We're here to help agents win. And whatever that means, whether it's signing up for our system or some other system, we're here to support you. Okay. But if you're asking me for an honest answer, the answer is Tom Ferry's not going to give you, he's going to give you a lot of mindset coaching and maybe a lot of cool ideas, but it's not a marketing engine. Yeah, the cheat sheet is free, Sonny. It's going to be sent out in about less than 3 hours. So Does anybody else have any questions? If not, I want to ask you guys a favor. Could you guys do me a favor? Well, first of all, I'm going to let you call me out. I promised you at the beginning this is going to be the best webinar you go to all year. Did I make good on that promise? Go to the chat. Did I make good on the promise that this is the best webinar you've been to all year or will go to all year? Did anybody learn anything from today's webinar? You guys are right. There's no availability. But anybody get anything out of today's webinar? Is anybody pumped? Is anybody like raring to go, ready to go out and crush it? Okay. So if you did, look, we'll never charge a dime for for our webinars. It's something that is my great pride and joy to do free webinars. But I do need your feedback. So your feedback is the most important thing. I want to know your honest opinion, good, bad, or ugly. And so if you could click the green button that you see on the chat right now, it would mean the world to me if you could go to, it's going to link you directly to our Facebook page where you can click share feedback. Okay, you can read other people's reviews, but it's going to say share feedback. And when you go to share feedback, I want you to leave an honest review. Okay, so just like good, bad, or ugly. If you hated it, tell me the truth. If you loved it, I want you to tell me the truth, but 2 to 3 sentences would be helpful. And, what did you think of the webinar? What did you think of the tools that we shared? What did you think of the strategies? What did you think of me? What did you think of my geeky eyeglasses, etc.? Just tell us what you thought. It means the world to us. And you can also follow us there on Facebook. So there's that. It would mean the world to me. And in fact, everybody, I'm about to shut this thing down. And so I'm going to redirect you directly to our Facebook page. And I'd love for you to take just a minute to go and leave your honest opinion. And look, I love you guys. Thanks so much for showing up. And we'll send the replay out this afternoon along with the download of the cheat sheet. And there you go. So I'm going to send you guys right now over to our Facebook page where you can leave a review. It would mean the world to me. Thank you in advance, and we'll see you next week. Take care. Bye.